what I've learned since being here for the past couple of months is that it's okay to let the dogs off the leash. I got to come to terms with it. I have too much of a control issue. So like right now, they're just roaming the countryside. Ludo, get your over here. We're training him. We're training him for races when this whole virus thing's over with. Necessity. That's how you know you're ready. Oh, you better wait. So maybe wearing camouflage in the woods wasn't a good idea either. Nobody knows. I wanted to say that the next review I do for this beer situation is going to be a classic. And I thought about it when I was going to pick out some beer the other day. And when we were over here back in the 80s, my father used to drink Löwenbräu. I don't know if any of you all know what that is, and maybe you do, but I saw Löwenbräu cans everywhere. So, stop. Would you stop ruining my shot? Get out of here. So, like I was saying, back when we were stationed here in Germany in the early 80s, I wasn't allowed, well, I could drink, but I didn't really pay a lot of attention to what everybody was drinking. But my father would have little parties in the stairwells, because we would live in economy housing and base housing throughout the entire time that we would take tours in Germany, Texas, Georgia a couple times. Anyway, so I would see cans of Löwenbräu all over the place, and they were the kind of cans where the pop tops, they were pop tops. They weren't like, they were old school, but I can't find any of those, but I did manage to find a couple Löwenbräus, and I'm going to probably do a review on that. And it's pretty awesome because it reminds me of when we were here. Hold on, stop. You guys. It reminds me when we were here back in the day in the 80s, so it's pretty cool. So hopefully we'll have a... Stop, guys. Well, there's the end of that. I'm going to review a Löwenbräu beer because I feel like that is the equivalent of a Budweiser for the Americans. If I'm wrong, somebody leave me a comment, but tune in for that. You guys good now? Now we're all quiet? Right. Sounds like the birds are saying, Murphy, Murphy.
It does.
Murphy, Murphy. Grüß dich. Wait, it's not even looking at me. Hey, grüß dich one more time. To the new office. A lot of things going on in the background. Don't let that deter you from why I'm here today. First, I want to welcome everybody that has subscribed in the last couple of weeks and also put up with our shenanigans. I was posting almost 2 videos a week when I first started this channel, but then I slowed it down a little bit because, well, the weather was terrible, and then we had the whole situation, and we really had to stay in the house most of the time. But that also allowed me to set up this office, and I don't know about this echo, but it may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing. But today I want to add to this next video and do that by what I said earlier. I was going to go ahead and talk about the Löwenbräu beer. I'm going to review the Löwenbräu beer today, and then we'll get into what I've been doing after all that. Like I said, I want to say welcome to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know if you guys are on the downslope of the whole stay in place, shelter in place. That's not right. Just quarantine, all of that, everything that's going on in whatever area of the world you're living in. Hope I could bring some happiness to your day. And without further ado, let's start with this beer, the Löwenbräu Beer. This is a really special beer for me because honestly I've never tasted it. I want to say I have in the past, but my palate was a 14, 15-year-old palate back then, and all I saw was the actual cans scattered around living rooms or small parties that my parents would throw with the neighbors. And back in the day when we were stationed in Germany, you would live in stairwells, so it's about 6 different apartments in one area, in one building, spread over the course of about 5 or 6 buildings on the German economy. And then you also had housing that was on base. Actually, it was inside the gate in Leighton, and that was really cool up in Würzburg. But this I'm just going to talk about when we were in Wiesbaden, which was before Würzburg. A lot of W's going on with this. And I was younger, so wasn't really into beer unless it was Karamalz, which is the German little small kids equivalent to wanting to have a glass of beer with your family. And it was just caramel, carbonated caramel, I think it was. Anyways, that's not why we're here. Let's start with this. Löwenbräu was something that my family was drinking around, I want to say like 82, 83. I could have the dates wrong. My sister would have to clarify. But I was a young buck, but I did notice the lion on the actual label. So without further ado, one more time, I like to say that word. Here is a classic Löwenbräu. This is the original. Löwenbräu. I don't know if my military folk know anything about this, because I think it's an equivalent to a Budweiser in the States. But I could be totally wrong. I could be totally off on that. But I do want to take a sippy sip before I get into the details and go to Beer Advocate and check out the reviews on it. I will give you a hint. It says that it has a score of a 76, which in a Beer Advocate terms is okay. And there are a lot of reviews on this, so that's awesome. I'm going to read a couple of those. But first, I'm going to find a nice, quick can opener. And this comes courtesy of Savannah River Brewing Company when they first started giving these out as door prizes or hello, welcome to the brewery. It is a local brewery in Augusta, Georgia, and they were awesome to me. I did a couple reviews on their beers, and that's actually how I started doing reviews here with German beers, but now I'm doing it on a personal level. Oh, well, get that cap. Let's not talk about how hard it is to get that cap open. Okay. Woo, the aroma just hit. Like, it smells like beer now in my entire office. It's pretty cool, right? Get you a Stein, which I have, right? Get you on that little corner pour, right? Look at that, clear. Let's get it closer to the camera. It is clear. Let's see how much head comes out. Looky, looky. Not bad. You can really smell this beer. I haven't even tasted it yet, and I can smell it. So, Löwenbräu, hello. Let's see if I can get it closer to the camera. Anyways, small head, check that out. Unfortunate for that, but let's see if the taste prevails. Yep, that, my friends, is what I thought it would taste like. This tastes like a Budweiser. I don't know. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me in the comment that this does not taste like a Budweiser. It does. Woo! Yeah, that's actually what it is. I bet you the Löwenbräu in the can is probably even more awesome. The reason why I'm saying it's awesome is because it's bringing back nostalgia for me. And really, at this point of the game, there are a lot of German beers that taste actually the same. It really hits the palate nicely, so that's awesome. The head I'm kind of disappointed with. It's also considered a lager and a hell. So I'm going to see what Beer Advocate has to say about it. But it is still pretty good beer. I could probably sip 2 or 3 of these and then move on to the next. I think there's a couple of different versions of Löwenbräu. This one right here, I will have to say that, whoo, it can clear a room. Like, I don't, it's probably because I'm not in the outdoors right now, but as soon as I popped the cap off that, the aroma popped out. You knew you were about to have a beer. That's pretty cool. If you're done with a hard day's work, you're done with a hard day quarantine, you're done binge watching the Ozarks, and you're ready to just pound a couple through, that's a good beer to start with if you're on this side of the pond. I also want to bring up some snacky snacks. Now, last time I did some bacon snacks. These are brand new, and I did open them yesterday because I couldn't wait. And I opened them opposite the wrong way, so I'm going to have to turn these around. Luckily, I do have a bowl right in front of me, and I can do that. These are called Pommes currywurst. So they are in the shape of French fries, and they have a currywurst. It's like a curry powder has been thrown on top of these bad babies. Now let's turn it around a little bit so you can get a full effect on how they should have been opened. Pommes currywurst. I do not think you will ever find these at your local Kroger. I also want to say that that's okay that they're not there. If you want to get something equivalent, go for the Andy caps. I think they still have Andy caps over there. Fire fries, whatever. They're really good. Check that. Looks like a very light French fry. Got a good crunch. It reminds me of the bacon snacks. It does have the same air bubbles as the bacon snacks, so when you do pop it in your mouth, it's got that crispiness. Anything that has this kind of a air pocket, whether it's the Andy caps I was referring to, or anything you could find in your grocery store that goes along with a beer, it's well worth it. Go ahead and skip the peanuts. For everybody that had the peanut allergies or whatever, just go to the grocery store, get you a bag of snacks, because there's nothing better than having a nice cold beer and a nice little bowl of snacks. Can you see my snacks? Currywurst hummus with a Löwenbräu. Let's see. Nice. And unfortunate for the head, but fortunate now that I could bring back some nostalgic memories from my time watching my father and my mother get a little tipsy with the neighbors. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see about the beer advocate real quick, shall we? My setup here is pretty awesome too. I'll let you see it later. Löwenbräu Original, score 76. So the style is a German Helles, like I thought. I also thought it was a lager, but it's a German Helles. The ABV on it is a 5.2%. That is really cool. You can drink about 4 of those and get a little lit. Everybody likes to get lit. It's a year-round beer. You can get it anywhere now, which I've always passed it. Never even went through to the other side of the aisle to get to the Löwenbräu until I had this flashback. And I was like, I'm going back and I'm going to check this out. And I'm going to see if what I thought was the Löwenbräu of my days of yore with my father stationed in the military is the same, and why all the soldiers went crazy for it. Or at least our community. And so, here we go. Excuse me, had a small burpee burp. That's always a good thing. I'm going to read a review. So this one gives a 3.14 out of 5. That's a little low. So the look is a 3. I'll give you that. The smell is a 3.25. I will throw that to a 5 as soon as you pop the cap. The taste is a 3. The feel is a 3.25. So the overall is a 3.25. It says, from a tall boy can, straw color with a white head, sweet malt aroma, light body, neutral sweet malt flavors. It's just okay. It's not offensive, but nothing really stands out either. Yes, I will agree with that write-up, because it doesn't really stand out. It's just a regular beer, but it is a German beer. So if you guys could find this in the States, I would recommend it. And for my Army brats, if you ever seen your parents drinking this or some cans laying around, and I'm not talking about cans where you just pop the top off anymore. This is like the pull cans, like a can of sardines cans. Back then, you just pop that off. That's how they used to drink it back then, and that's the only way in my head I can remember. Let's go with another review real quick. Ooh, this guy over here gives it a 4.08 out of 5. He says the look is a 4, the smell is a 4, the taste is a 4.25, the feel is a 3.75, so the overall is a 4. This beer is my favorite of the German big market brews. It is a big market brew. That's why I compared it also to a Budweiser, because Löwenbräu is everywhere in Germany. I just never really paid much attention to it. So, although every city in Germany and most bigger towns have their own local, and many of them are better, this, in my opinion, is at the top of the line of the mass-produced German beers. I lived in Germany and also Eastern Europe and opted for this as the fridge stocking beer anytime I could find it. Very malty, like all good German beers. It has a very strong aroma, highly carbonated. As I said, you can often find even better beer on tap at Ratskellers all over Germany. I'm thinking that's either Ratskeller or Ratskeller. But if anyone wants to know what a good German beer should taste like, this is the product they should try. This is also, I would say, an introductory beer if you wanted to get into German beer. You don't want to go straight into a Dunkel. I will tell you that. If you decided that your first German beer experience is going to be the darkest beer you can get, whether you're in America and you get your hands on a Warsteiner Dunkel, you're going to be in shock because it's going to be thick, it's going to hit you really hard, and then ABV is really hard too. So start low. Start Löwenbräu. Anyways, let's check another sippy sip. I do like it. I really do. I'm really glad I'm just doing a single review of this beer because it hits the palate nicely. It does what it has to do. Alright, before I waste any more time, the Löwenbräu brewery is in Munich and it's owned by Anheuser-Busch. Double shot right there. I didn't even read this beforehand, so you put two and two together. Its name is German for lion's brew. Most Löwenbräu beers are marked as being brewed according to the German purity law. So that's true. You got a couple ingredients that everyone has. The water, the barley, the hops. What is the other one? It's the barley, the hops, the water, and the yeast. It was founded in 1383 in Munich, Germany. This beer is at the Oktoberfest because that is where the biggest Oktoberfest in Europe is in Munich. I'm going to bring up the Wikipedia right here because that has not let me down yet. Excuse me, I keep burping. Maybe I need a chippy chip and a sippy sip. Löwenbräu's market position in Upper Bavaria and financing was made possible by its large real estate holdings. It helped drive the worldwide sales of their beer. So in North America, Löwenbräu came to be considered the archetype of Munich beer, as shown by its presence in Montreal Expo in 1967. So it has made its way over to the other side, to North America, and is doing considerably well. So if you guys do see a Löwenbräu, please pick one or two up. They cannot be that expensive. Okay, how about a 3.61 out of 5? The look is a 3.25, the smell is a 3.5, the taste is a 3.75, and the feel is a 3.75, will give you an overall of a 3.5. It's a very solid beer with good flavor and mouthfeel. It's well balanced on its own, but I found that this is a bit too bitter when eating with food. You could enjoy a glass by itself, but I would not order it with a meal again. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, you opt for the chippy chip. It's an in-between meal. If you're waiting for your significant other to cook and you're having a small beer on the patio or in the office, get you a bowl of something just to tie it all together. You want some salt and you want some bitter. These two, perfect combination. And on that note, I think I'm done. I wanted to talk more about it, but what can you say? Löwenbräu, the Lion's Brew, made famous, well, from my generation, by drunken parents, maybe. So, I hope you guys like that. I'll give you a quick tour. And until next time, I'm going to finish this sucker off. Highly recommended. Please, get you one of these. Kenny Mosley, in Florida. I saw you in your backyard pool. Very nice. You're living the good life. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. And please, if you see this in Florida, get you a Löwenbräu. Send me a picture, please. I'd love to see it. Thanks a lot, everybody. And that's it. I'm out. Bonus! This is one side. There's the little camera. Pictures I haven't hung yet. This is my media section. All the media things go there. Cameras, lighting equipment. This is my most pride and joy. And the one I really love the most has light shining on him. Maybe I'll get another picture later. But this is the wall collection of some of the skateboards in my possession. Well, that's right. Of course, I got DP represented over here. Got the longboard represented over here. Got my 15 minutes of fame right there with DJ Kubert. That's right, in the old group, doing its thing. Shout out to Shaft. Yep. Oh, look, speaking of Kenny Mosley. Kenny, you're in there. Then, over here in this corner are my fantasy football teams. We won't get into too much information on that as it is not season. And then, Heather Young, shout out to you. That is an original painting, super large. It is hanging on the corner of a traditional German office room. Then I got, you know, just everything else. This is where the magic happens, I guess. Yeah. Yep. It's got a lot going on. Gonna have to try to fix that a little bit. We're gonna talk to this young lady sometime in the near future. We call her Cabby. There you have it, everybody. So enjoy the rest of your week. And we're out. I say tschüss already? Probably. Tschüss.